Hello students, let me continue from where I left in my previous audio presentation related with the fifth chapter from Hornbill, that is the Ailing planet. So I was talking about population and poverty, if you all remember. So let me move on to the next paragraph. The population of India is estimated to be 920 million today. Actually, I told you that the figures might change because it is written way back in 1994. I'm stressing on this particular thing every time, and you have to go by the data given in the text. So I repeat, the population of India is estimated to be 920 million today, more than the entire populations of Africa and South America put together. That's very unfortunate that the population of Africa and South America combined equals to the population of our country. No one familiar with the conditions in India would doubt that the hope of the people would die in their hungry hutments unless population control is given topmost priority. Priority means significance or importance. Until and unless we give topmost priority or topmost significance to our population, our hopes, our desires will all die within the hungry hutments. So it is the high time that population check is a must, because if we check population, there will be development, income will rise in terms of the middle class and the lower middle class families, then health and hygiene will improve, education will spread, and that is ultimately development will be there. Because in this world we should realize that not population but control of population is very important, not an increase in population, because ultimately development is the only way out, or rather to say development is the best contraceptive. That already, dear students, I explained in my previous paragraph. For the first time in human history, dear students, I'm moving on to the next paragraph. For the first time in human history, we see a transcending concern, the survival not just of the people but of the planet. We have begun to take a holistic view. Holistic means from the overall perspective. Even the term holistic was there at the very beginning of the chapter. I guess you all remember about it. So for the first time in human history, we see a change, a metamorphic change, 360-degree change, a concern, a transcending concern. The survival not just of the people but of the planet. Yes, we have to remember that our survival is definitely important, but most importantly, the survival and the well-being of the planet. If we consider the planet as a vast living organism, then the well-being and the survival of the planet is also very, very important. It should be our topmost priority. If the planet is healthy, we all will stay healthy. If the planet is deteriorating in health, if it's ailing, then our condition is also critical side by side. So we should actually keep that in mind. So let's continue. The survival not just of the people but of the planet. Not only our survival is important, but the survival of the planet is also very, very important. We have begun to take a holistic view of the very basis of our existence. Holistic, I already told you, overall perspective. The environmental problem does not necessarily signal our demise. Now, the environmental degradation or the environmental problem doesn't mean that our life will end or we will perish. It doesn't mean so. The environmental problem does not necessarily signal our demise. It is our passport for the future, passport or gateway for the future. The emerging New World Vision has ushered in the era of responsibility. It is a holistic world vision. It is a holistic view, an ecological view, seeing the world as an integrated whole rather than a disassociated collection of parts. Now, our ideology, our perception at looking the world had changed a lot. Now we see the world as a collective one, as an assembled one, or rather to say as an integrated one, rather than it is a scattered parts, rather than we consider it as dissociated collection of parts or scattered entities or parts, we consider the world as an integrated one. Industry has a most crucial role to play in this era of responsibility. In this era of responsibility, industry plays a very, very important role. What a transformation would be affected if more businessmen shared the view of the chairman of DuPont, Mr. Edgar S. Ullard. Now, if every industrialist, if every businessman would have shared the same viewpoint as been given by Edgar S. Ullard, then obviously our perception regarding the saving of the planet would have been our topmost priority. We would have been more serious. So what was actually the viewpoint of Edgar S. Ullard, who 5 years ago declared himself to be the company's chief environmental officer? He said, and here I quote, "Our continued existence as a leading manufacturer requires that we excel in environmental performance." Now, actually, he put stress on eco-friendly environment. Edgar S. Ullard, actually, he put stress on eco-friendly environment. Now, as much as we will protect our environment, as much as we will all collectively strive for an eco-friendly environment, ultimately it will be the development of us in the near future. So, because he was the chief environmental officer and he put stress on this eco-friendly environment, obviously we have to excel not only in terms of development but also in terms of environmental performance, taking it from the entire perspective. We can excel. Obviously, there will be development, but side by side, there will be development. We should also notice that there is development or proper development in terms of environmental performance. And for that reason, Mr. Edgar S. Ullard put stress that we should all strive forward for an eco-friendly environment. That is the main thing, dear students. Remember, we should excel in development, but side by side, there should be an increase or excel in environmental performance also, and that is only possible if there is an eco-friendly environment. So we human beings, the developed species in this entire world, the most rational one in this entire world, we should strive for an eco-friendly environment. Now, dear students, I am moving on to the penultimate paragraph of this particular lesson, the Ailing planet. Of all the statements made by Margaret Thatcher was ex-Britain's Prime Minister. During the years of her Prime Ministership, none has passed so decisively into the current coin of English usage as her felicitous words. So exactly what she told. It was highly inspiring, highly motivating, and very much relevant even today. Now, what exactly she told? Let us come to that. Here I quote, "No generation has a freehold on this earth. All we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease." Now, this is a very, very meaningful and a very important statement. No generation has a free access on this earth. We can't claim this part of the land is ours, that part of the land is yours. No, we can't, because we have to assemble ourselves together in order to protect the environment, and we have to be lifelong tenants, and our job will be to repair the earth as much as we can, to protect it as much as we can. We can't be the owner of the earth. If we try to be the owner of the earth, and if we subdivide and divide ourselves on the basis of possession of land and region, then obviously it will be critical for the environment. So what we can do, we can be lifelong tenant, and our duty is to repair the earth as much as we can, to protect the earth as much as we can, because all we have is a life tenancy with a full repairing lease. Now, our duty is to repair the world, but no one has a freehold on this earth. We have to remember that no one has an access in this, free access in this earth. We can't actually fight among us for part of land, this land, that land. We can't divide, subdivide also. What we can do is that we can be lifelong tenants, and our duty is to protect the Mother Earth. And it is a full repairing lease. With a full repairing lease, we have to be the lifelong tenants of this earth. And our responsibility is to repair the environment, to protect the environment. Instead of claiming that this part of the land is mine, that part is yours. Because that will lead to environmental degradation. That is interrelated with a question mark on our survival also at the same time. Though it clearly doesn't mean our demise, but if we go on randomly utilizing the natural resources, exploiting it more and more, then ultimately it will cause problem to us also, because we are also a part of nature. Now we are moving on to the last line, and it's a quotation from that was given by Mr. Lester Brown. We have already read about him, the global economic prospect. I guess you all remember about it. So let me continue with this. We have not inherited this earth from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. Very, very thought-provoking statement. We haven't inherited this earth from our forefathers. We have borrowed it from our children. The mentality of ours should be like that. Instead of plundering and destroying the earth for its varied and various resources, we should tactfully use it, so that not only we can thrive and we can grow in this environment, but also our future generation can also thrive and grow in this particular environment. So ultimately, we have not inherited this earth from our ancestors, but we have borrowed it from our children. So that is it, dear students. I hope you have understood the entire chapter. Kindly go through it and listen to my audio presentations. I guess it will be clearer to you. Thank you, students.